welcome to ConCarolinas Television. I am Bronner, and if you notice, my beautiful co-host is not with us tonight. She's feeling a little bit under the weather, so we wish her a speedy recovery and all the best. And tonight we have some very amazing guests. We're going to start with Richard. Richard, why don't you introduce yourself and introduce who you got with you tonight?
Hi, I'm Richard Fife. I am the author of Conflict Born, a gas lamp fantasy with zero-G sky pirates in kind of a Napoleonic era-esque world. Lots of adventure and excitement. My first book available from Falstaff. I like multi-scotches, open-world RPGs, and devouring the patriarchy. And with me is my 16-year-old son, Jared.
Hey, do I talk about myself now?
Yeah, you can.
Sure, come on.
Just a little bit.
What do I say?
Hi, Jared.
Bronner.
All right. Well, welcome, Jared, and welcome back, Richard. We've had Richard on the show before. If you guys remember, we talked about his book, Conflict Born, and it's doing well. From what I hear, and by all accounts, it's doing very well. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then we also have this beautiful creature below, or I don't even know how she appears on the actual film screen, but that beautiful creature is my daughter, not John Dondero, my daughter. Her name is Naya. Why don't you say something for us, Naya?
Hi, my name is Naya. That's my dad. He's pretty amazing. Oh, I don't know where you are on here, but for me, you're here.
Yeah, for me, you're there. So, but it really doesn't matter because it's just a kind of a thing. And who else do we have with us? Oh my goodness, it's a John Dondero. And he is a producer extraordinaire, parent extraordinaire, and yeah, he does all kinds of really good things. So he doesn't have his offspring with him, but he does have offspring. So he does qualify as someone that can speak to the subject matter.
They turned me down because I am not cool enough. It
happens.
Yeah, they were like, I don't want to appear on your lame ass podcast, and I was like, but it's the coolest one we have. And they're like, yeah, we know that, we know it's your coolest one, but still,
it happens. There's I can't tell you. I mean, I probably invited half a dozen people that were like, oh yeah, I want to be on it. Half an hour later, they're like, my kid refuses to go on camera. So I put it out there in, I think it was even Facebook land, because I don't know who has teenagers, who doesn't. But then Richard was kind enough to say, hey, I've got a teenager. Yeah. And he checked, and Jared was willing. So we thank you, Jared, for coming on the show. We're going to get into some questions now that are kind of easy. They're nothing to be afraid of. I'm not going to ask you anything that's embarrassing, theoretically.
Joke's on you. Every story I have is embarrassing, regardless of the question.
Well, no, I believe that 100% because you are John Dondero.
Mm-hmm. That's what happens when your offspring doesn't agree to be on the camera. They don't get to defend themselves.
That's right. That's the chance they have to take, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's just go around the horn and see how long we have been classified as a nerd. I'm going to start. I'm working on 54 years. It'll be 54 years when? Saturday. So I'll be 54 years a nerd on Saturday.
Now, and I don't know if you're willing to say this, because I'm going to go a different way on delimiting. When in your life did you start considering yourself a nerd?
I was born a nerd, and that's just my parents.
Mhm.
That it was always like Star Wars. It was always Star Trek. It was always well, it started Star Trek and a lot of those old shows, Twilight Zone,
Mhm.
anything that I could catch on black and white TV. That's what I was watching, believe it or not.
Mhm.
So I think I started early. I mean,
Yeah.
that's me. What about you, Richard? When did you start?
I don't think I realized as I'm kind of thinking back on it, it's like I was born in a kind of a nerdy house. Star Trek, Star Wars, that kind of stuff also was in the house. But I don't think it really clicked to me till third grade, when the big weekly family night thing was watching Next Generation. Star Trek Next Generation. That was like, oh, that's all, make sure we get dinner done in time. And
Right.
back in the before time when TV wasn't just on demand.
That was when you had to actually schedule yourself around TV shows.
Uh-huh. And the old the commercial break and yelling, "It's coming back on!"
You had to run to the pisser every.
Yeah, kids today don't get it.
It was that there was no pause button, kids. Nothing. You had to run to the bathroom and hope you were back in time, and probably not get a snack that round. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
the snack. It's the worst part.
the snack is the worst part.
Having to juggle. Can I hold it till the next break, or can I go get a snack?
Right. And now it's so easy. But okay, what about you? I can tell you when you were a nerd. But go ahead and try to explain it to me. When did you become a nerd?
You talking to me?
Who?
Yeah, you talking to me?
You pointed. You didn't say. Go ahead. You explain where you are. I'm like,
well, like if I knew when you became a nerd, John, then I would have known you my whole life, and I just met you. So
He's still not. He's a jock here to beat us up.
Yeah. Okay.
I was the bully.
Naya?
I would say maybe what I remember in my mind is probably 5 years old when I would watch Hairspray on repeat, and I knew that there was something about it, musicals, that just made me crazy. And then it just went on into me becoming a band nerd and then delving more into that Broadway musical world. And it's just stuck ever since. So that's my nerdy interest. And I would say probably like 5 years old. What would you say, Dad?
I would say that you were a huge Harry Potter fan.
Right. This is true.
So, and I would say along those lines, but I knew like you were a nerd when you were like probably between 3 and 5 years old, when you used to like barge in, because I used to play video games in the bedroom.
Right.
And you used to come in and you used to take the controller from me and you used to just play. And it was kind of a cool moment, where, father-daughter kind of thing going on. But that was pretty awesome.
Oh, cute. I didn't know that.
It happens.
Mm-hmm.
Some things I hold on to.
Right.
That, or, I'll give you a little bit here and a little bit there just so that you can, have, sporadic joy sprinkled through your life. What about you, Jared?
I think it either started in second grade when my mom started getting me really into Disney, or
Disney's huge.
Yeah, or when I started watching Dad play Legends of Zelda, or
the way he says that he's unsure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Legend. Is that what it's called?
I'm more of a Mario person myself, but
Mario.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like watching him. Yeah. And then yeah.
Whereas I made a concerted effort to nerd you up. it was a program. There was plans.
I went through the process. All the gears set in place, turning in there.
Oh, there was calculated exposure to Avatar: The Last Airbender, to Doctor Who.
Yeah.
That was happening when you were 3 or 4 years old. We were already starting to delve into these things.
Fourth Doctor's the best. Gummy babies is the way to go.
The Johnny Baby.
Plus the scarf, the afro.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big hair. Yeah.
I'm not a Doctor Who guy, but yeah, I like David Tennant.
Yeah.
So
10
whatever
is
number he is,
10.
10.
That's the easy way to remember it. Tenet is 10.
10 and 10. All right, Mr. Dondero, when did you make that self-discovery?
Well, let's see. My mother wanted to name me John Tiberius Dondero. So I want to say
I get that reference.
I want to say it was
So do I.
pretty early on. I mean, I nerded out as a kid almost immediately. I love to read. I'm a huge Ghostbuster nerd. I wanted to be a scientist. And of course, I grew up in a Trekkie home, which means I was a giant Star Wars fan. But I also love Star Trek. My kids, on the other hand, they nerded out from, they were also nerdy at birth. My son was a gamer, and I'm talking he would be colicky, and I would just sit him on my lap, and I would start playing a game. He'd put his hands on the controller and just immediately stop crying. And to this day, the reason he doesn't want to be on the podcast is because a new game has come out that he's like, I'd much rather play that than be in content. But he's also a Doctor Who fan. The other nerd is my 4-year-old, well, 5-year-old, my 5-nager. And she is big into Marvel, actually comics in general, because she likes DC too. I can't stand it. She has a Superman chain on her book. She's like, I love Superman. And I'm like, oh, kid. And she also loves horror and nerdy stuff, like Stranger Things right now. The 5-year-old, she has told me the entire plot of it, and she keeps trying to spoil it for me. And I'm like, stop, I'm not finished yet. You have more time than I do because you're 5 and you shouldn't be watching it in the first place.
Yeah, right.
And she's like, Dad, it's not scary. It's all computer graphics. And I'm like, I hate that you know that at 5.
But it is on the verge of being rated R, I think. I mean,
It's pretty intense.
The new, especially the new season.
I haven't watched it.
Yeah.
In fact, my other son
here
is watching. Oh no, he's not watching it right now, but he was watching it.
I'm telling you right now, we have a hard out at 8:30 because I have to go and watch the last episode. So.
Well,
You guys can keep streaming all you want. You guys can keep talking all you want to. The stream's going to end, and I'm going to go drive back over to my kid's house.
Yeah, well, in fairness,
I'll head back over to my kid's house.
We gotta watch The Boys.
Because we have to watch The Boys.
Season finale.
We're actually on season 2 right now because I've seen it, but they haven't. So, and their mom apparently was like, "Oh, I don't know that I want you watching more of this." And I'm like, "Guess what we're doing?"
I love The Boys.
16
I would never
years
let my kids
old
watch it.
16 years old is about where I would say, yeah, you're ready if they're mature enough.
Yeah, I have a 14-year-old too, but he's also decently mature for. We've talked about a lot of the stuff that's being talked about in The Boys.
Being the younger
No,
sibling,
I haven't.
rocks. I mean,
Yeah,
he just piggybacks on all my rewards.
he does.
It's stupid.
The 14-year-old.
Now,
It happens.
I will say that because they haven't hit the newest season, which I haven't seen yet, so no one spoil it.
It's amazing.
But it is
If that's
so much
spoiling
worse
it.
than everything
I heard.
that has been shown.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've heard that, but I also know that he also watched Invincible before I did. So
Invincible's
Haven't seen that.
It's good.
it's the same gritty superhero, just
Did-
animated.
I don't
Did
think
you
it's-
have?
It's not as gritty.
Did you happen to watch the not Invincible, but the there's another cartoon that's associated with The Boys. It's a bunch of
Cooper's Legacy?
different.
Or is it actually in the Boys universe?
It's in the Boys universe, but they're just all different animated shows,
Yeah, I haven't
different
seen-
animated. Yeah, it's very good. It's very entertaining. But in any case, okay. So really quickly, number 1 lane, nerddom. Naya, yours has to be from day one. Disney all the way.
I was gonna say absolutely 100
100%.
for
You
sure.
a Kingdom Hearts player?
The what now?
You play Kingdom Hearts?
I did when I was young. Yeah, on our GameCube. I did.
Ooh.
Well, his GameCube, not mine.
I went on a whole rant about Kingdom Hearts on the other podcast I was on too.
Ray plays Kingdom Hearts. I don't know why.
I don't. I just know that it's super Disney.
And it drives
I
me
played the
nuts.
first two.
It's so nostalgic.
It kind of is, but it kind of is like just, it's too like choppy for me. It's not like, it's like it doesn't have a really good center core story. It's just, it's like they took Final Fantasy and Disney and just mushed them together, you know? To me, that's what I get out of it. All right, so anybody else have any number one favorite lanes?
D&D and Pathfinder. I love
D&D and Pathfinder. That's me all the way.
I love creating stories and having friends play through them. It's really entertaining and fun.
So you're a
Nerd.
GM.
Yes, I'm a DM. Yes.
Awesome.
Your heart just grows.
Right?
My plan is coming true.
It's coming to fruition.
Coming to fruition.
I like it.
Geez, it's
Nerd
hard.
alert.
It's hard to pick just a single lane. I think I'm contractually obliged to say fantasy books, in particular The Wheel of Time.
Love it.
Because I had Robert Jordan's niece as my wedding officiant. So, and had several other people from his writing team that were at my wedding. So yeah.
Did you have Sanderson at your wedding?
No, Brandon wasn't there. I do know Brandon. I'm one of his beta readers, but
Nice.
But Brandon was not at my wedding, unfortunately. The Charleston crew was able. It was a little closer from Charleston than from Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but boy, that
All
was
right.
a great wedding gift.
So what about? Do you think that you follow in your dad's footsteps, Jared? Do you have a lane, John? Okay, fine, John. Do you have a lane?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go to one of your talking points.
Please tell us your lane.
No, I'm fine. Go to your talking points.
Please. I won't talk anymore.
I'll just sit here and produce. You go ahead. You go ahead and you produce.
What's your lane?
I'm fine with it. Everything's
produce?
okay.
I think salt is his lane.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Somebody's getting a swirly after this.
Uh-oh. My daughter dropped, so you better answer.
Oh, what?
My daughter
Okay.
dropped
Well,
out. So,
I've got to go fix her.
so you can,
No, I
you
actually,
can walk and chew gum at the same time. I know that.
I don't actually have a lane. To be real honest, I mean, I work at a library, so you think it'd be books, but it's not. I am an avid gamer. I stream on Twitch. You think I'd be a gamer. I'm not. I mean, I am. I am all of those things, but there's no one main lane. I also used to be a filmmaker before I was a streamer. So I think media in general is my lane. Just nerd media. There is not one particular thing I really enjoy. I just want to do all of it. I even write. That's the best part. Is I also write, and no one knows because no one thinks I'm literate. Exactly.
Right? Well, you know, there are those people that actually go through your book and make sure it's actually readable.
I know. No, actually,
editors, and they're going to be your best friend if you're a writer.
I used to write a lot of because I starred in Doctor Who Lucky 13, which is a fan film. That I played the Doctor, and me and my companion actually wrote the entire series, and then we wrote like 4 more stories after we stopped making the films because we just had a whole arc to tell. So he's my editor.
Neat. I never knew that about you.
Yeah.
Very
I'll
cool.
blow your mind. You guys have no idea. I show up at a convention and they're like, "What are you doing now? What are you now?"
That's true. I have heard that. So that is a true statement. What kind of nerdy things do you do with your parent? Naya, what kind of nerdy things do you do with me?
Mm, your I definitely feed into your Batman obsession. I I like to collect with you. I like to get you things that you don't have or go in there and organize your comics with you. We definitely watch a lot of nerdy movies together, Superman movies, Marvel, DC, all that good stuff. We watch The Mandalorian together. It's just spending time together, but it happens to be nerdy things. And I appreciate it. It's opened me to a new world.
So
And
you
you
have like a
build.
whole group of people spoiling you. Is that what I'm hearing?
I have a whole like entourage of people.
Okay.
For
Obviously,
sure.
for sure, right? Not just
Absolutely.
Rachel, but I have others for sure. In fact, I'm staring at 2 gifts by my brother-in-law just now. Just randomly handed them to me the other day. I was really cool. But okay, she also helps me build like nerdy things. Like we built an entire escape room, and she helped me do that. And it was a portable escape room that we took to conventions and whatnot before COVID hit, and then COVID kind of killed that. But I mean, she really is invested in me with a lot of my nerd type stuff. She hasn't role played with me yet, and I don't know. Have you role played with your dad yet, Jared?
When I first got introduced to Pathfinder and D&D, he DM'd me. So yeah.
Yeah, I did. We did a little bit of the starter set, the Lost Mines of Phandelver.
Yeah.
And you used to hang out and watch my normal D&D. That sounds so horrible.
Yeah.
But the D&D session with the adults.
Yeah. Sit by and watch them.
Yeah, sit by and watch them. But unfortunately, we just for our family D&D, it's not been super easy because my other son wasn't really into it. So it's a little bit of pulling teeth to try and get that going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finally just this past like maybe 5 years ago got my wife to start role playing.
Mhm.
So, but I haven't ever gotten Naya to role play, so maybe she will. What about you, Mr. Dondero?
No, I'm just remembering this is CCTV, not BSBN, like normal. So just
Oh,
every story it tells them, like, don't say it.
you can't say that story.
Can't say it.
It's not viewer friendly at this point.
Well, let's see. I game with my son, and I
That's
watch.
cool.
I watch movies with my daughter. Like that's the big thing that me and my daughter do is watch. She likes the idea of Star Wars, but her favorites are like because she's 5 and she loves the Ewok movies, both of them, because they are campy and fun. And she's just like, I love this idea. Like, and then I'm like, well, they feature some of these things. Like, if you watch the second Ewok movie and then watch The Mandalorian, you'll recognize a lot of callbacks that no one knows were there. And so we're watching The Mandalorian. She goes, I know those. And I was like, yeah, you do. And then my son, we used to watch Doctor Who together, but he kind of fell out of Doctor Who and moved like more stricter into gamer. So none of them really enjoy tabletopping yet. But I don't tabletop that often anymore. Like I don't think I've played a tabletop game since they have been born, just because. Well, I do other things.
Oh, it's time intensive.
Lots of other things.
One or two.
Yeah. But we've played our share of tabletop games. She used to come to game night at the Monstore with me. So we would play games, but mostly she would just be like, yeah, I'm not going to go next time, Dad. I'm just not going ever again. Thank you. Just not my scene, I think is the way she put it to me. Would you say you get along with your dad, Jared? Like, are you guys buds?
Yeah, we're kind of close, kind of. I mean, we kind of do our own thing a lot, but when we are together, we're great. So
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's
What
fair.
about? That's a good, honest answer, though. I like that. And there should be some independence in there. So, 100%. What about you, Naya? Are you close to your dad?
Besties for life.
For life.
Yeah.
I was about to say it doesn't work if you
Well-
hold up your crossed fingers.
Oh,
You're supposed to do it behind your back.
Wait.
Well, I mean, I lived with you
Besties.
for 2
That means besties. That doesn't mean crossed fingers. Like, yeah, that's besties.
It's different. But yeah, I mean, I lived with you for 2 years. You were retired. We spent every second of every day together, bound to be close. I live on the West Coast now, and I FaceTime you at least once a week, let's say. So yeah, my
For
bestie.
hours.
Yeah, literally every off day.
For
I'm like, Dad, are you okay? Are you
Right?
awake? Can I call you?
And I welcome that. Okay, so for the whole spectrum of nerdy things, what do you wish that you guys did together as a family? John, let's start with you.
I don't know. I would like to do more conventions together.
Same.
Like my kids came up to the last con we went to when we did ConCarolinas. But they weren't there for long because we were doing so much work. They were like, well, Mom's not into it, so we're good. And there was a Fortnite event going on, and I can't compete with Fortnite.
I don't even
but,
know why
you know-
that's a thing. I don't get it.
You know what? I get it. I do get it.
You do?
It is like, yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's their generation. Like, every generation has this, like, thing that they're, like, real into that annoys the piss out of everyone who's not. If you want the
That's a
greatest
good
example,
way to put it.
Magic the Gathering.
Mm-hmm.
I hate Magic the Gathering. And when it was like really like hot and fresh, it was just like right after D&D, D&D's craze is like it's gone back into the norm. We got Magic the Gathering or Pokemon trading cards or just any of those things. And I'm like, I'm not getting into any of this, but that's what Fortnite is to them. The people who are very into it are into it.
But I mean, there's different camps though. There's like that camp, and then there's like Apex Legend camp. There's different people who play different things.
I'm gonna be honest. Most of them all play it. I'll play all of them.
Yeah.
You know how I know? It's because my kid plays all of them, and then all his friends play all of them. They'll tell you they don't. They'll be like, "No, I'm a Fortnite kid, or I'm an Apex Legend," but no, they really do. Don't listen to their lies. It's just like
Don't
I'll
feed
go
into the
watch a Batman.
propaganda.
Yeah, I'll at least say I'm a Marvel fan, but I'll go watch a Batman movie. I still haven't seen the Batman, but I will go watch a Batman movie.
Jared, you used to play Fortnite.
I used to, but then got very tired of it very quickly. I mean, it's not those like types of games like Call of Duty or Apex or Fortnite. Just can't stand them. If I'm
Yeah,
gonna play
same here.
If I'm going to play a shooter game, I'm going to play it on the VR system. That's where I'm going to play them. But like Valorant, no, that's also a shooter game that's not on VR system. What is it called? Pavlov. That's what it is. Pavlov and any zombie game.
Yeah, he's big into horror. I don't know. He gets that from his mom. I am not a horror fan.
No.
Invader Zim. And
that was my
regular
fault.
show.
Invader Zim was my favorite.
That's something I do with my kids. We watch cartoons together. Like I introduce him to older cartoons, like Invader Zim, All Real Monsters, like the old good Nicktoons, and like stuff like that. And then he introduced me to stuff like I'm the biggest Adventure Time fan. I mean, in the history of fandom, like cartoon, like I'm huge. I mean, come on, I have this sound. And that was all my son. My son absolutely got me into that. He was just like, Dad, I want you to watch this cartoon. It's really funny, it's cute. And then he's like, but pay attention to the story.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And the next thing I know, I'm like, I want all of the Adventure Time, and it makes me cry.
Yeah.
My kids actually were watching Adventure Time when it first came out. Is the one reason I actually had a cable box is because they wanted to watch some Adventure Time and regular show. So
Don't forget Amazing World of Gumball.
And Amazing World of Gumball. And
I love Amazing World of Gumball too. And regular show. Mark Hamill is amazing on that show. Like he's actually amazing on all three of those shows. But one of my favorite things is, and you will hear every once in a while you're watching stream, both me and Miko will go in a a whole battle. And no one will understand what we're doing because both me and Miko are like the only people in the BSBN that religiously watch cartoons.
I'm not a huge fan of cartoons. I mean, my whole life. I mean, I watched I religiously watched the Thundercats and Speed Racer, and then it kind of all just went away after that. I mean, I really didn't have any interest in it.
I also remember introducing my kids to the golden age of Saturday morning cartoons. The Adventures of Sonic. No, not the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. It was
a Sonic thing.
It was Sonic the Hedgehog Saturday morning. The Saturday morning Sonic the Hedgehog. That was much darker because there were two Sonic shows running at the same time. There was the one that was really goofball. Oh, did we lose?
We lost Dondero now.
No.
No, I'm back. I'm here.
Oh, yeah, he's there.
Okay, yeah, but we lost. There was the kind of goofball-y one where Robotnik is just kind of a putzing whatever. But then there's the one where Robotnik has roboticized 90% of the world.
That was terrifying. I don't know why.
And the first episode, someone dies off camera, but someone died. You guys loved it.
Right up the Dark Crystal too. I forgot.
Oh, I traumatized them with all that wonderful
that one
from the 90s.
Scene from that Skeksis laying in bed and then it just turns to dust.
And then the Skeksis falls apart.
Why would you show me that?
Because I was hurt.
Traumatized.
They was never-ending story. That one mud scene where the horse was getting dragged.
With the horse?
Artax scene.
Why?
Okay. Let me tell you the story. Last night on the podcast, the other podcast that we do on this network, the Weebs, Dweebs, and Interweebs podcast, we told a story about how we made one of our main cast members, Arugs from the internet, cry because she said she did not like Never Ending Story. Her entire brand is based off Artex dying in that swamp because we told her she was the reason Artex died. Last night, we found out all Hope from the BSBN has not seen the Never Ending Story. And I was just like, you are the biggest piece of bleepity bleep bleep bleep. You are the nothing. And we just 20 minutes. I was about to ask, had you seen the Never Ending Story? And if you hadn't, I was just going to exit this channel.
It's Never Ending Story. And I think part of the joy of raising a geek is getting to, at least with our generation, is getting to inflict upon them.
Goonies, Never Ending Story.
Never Ending Story, Legend.
So good.
The creepy dancing dress scene. Legend, Dark Crystal, Last Unicorn. Which at least Last Unicorn isn't nightmare fuel.
It is
right.
Nightmare fuel. Have you seen some of that animation?
I mean, okay, yeah.
The animation is pretty bad.
Have you guys seen Wizards though?
Wizards?
The original Wizards, the Ralph Bakshi one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I saw that one.
It's the same guy who did the animated Lord of the Rings. Or no, the animated Hobbit.
Animated Lord of the Rings. No.
Oh,
no, it was the Hobbit.
The Hobbit was... Because the Hobbit was... Okay. I thought Bakshi was the Lord of the Rings. That's the one that was only a half of the...
That was
all the rotoscope stuff going on.
Yeah, they had like it was filmed and then they animated on top of the filming.
Yeah, they wrote
that was really watching.
Yeah.
There was an ultimate fantasy tale called Wizards,
Uh-huh.
and it's a very okay. If you like Adventure Time, it is essentially Adventure Time.
Okay, we'll have to look that
a
one
very real. Something bad happened. The apocalypse went down, and fairies and magic came back. And then, like, I think the main antagonist finds Hitler's war machines.
Oh,
it is a very good allegory to World War II, and by allegory I mean they straight up say this is World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I showed him Krull.
Oh yeah, Krull. That was awesome.
I don't remember that.
That's the one that has the it had like the 5-bladed flying disky
little star thing. Yeah.
It was the glaive. It was called the glaive. But it was like aliens versus fantasy. It was sci-fi versus fantasy because there was an alien invader came down and attacked a fantasy world. And like they have no way to fight him except they have to go find the magical weapon, the glaive. And it watches like listening to someone's D&D campaign. It is so just quest after quest after quest. But it has Liam Neeson in it, and Liam Neeson dies, as Liam Neeson does.
Who's Liam Neeson?
Qui-Gon Jinn.
I'm sorry. Yeah, there you go. Qui-Gon Jinn. The Taken guy. I have a specific set of skills that I've acquired over a long... I'm surprised you've not bumped into that meme more than Qui-Gon Jinn. No. Yeah, Qui-Gon Jinn from Star Wars.
I forgot who that was.
The guy that Darth Maul killed.
He's Ra's al Ghul. He was
Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was...
My brain is...
He's famous.
One Riddler guy in the spandex suit. And
Jim Carrey in the spandex suit.
Yeah, that's all I'm picturing right now.
Yeah.
By the way, Sonic the 2, I know we did video game movies.
Yeah.
Sonic 2 was everything I'd ever hoped it would be for a sequel, and I loved every second of it.
I have heard that I've not actually watched the Sonic movies. I've heard they're amazing.
The first one was amazing, but I didn't hear anything positive about the second one. So I was like, at that point, no bother.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed it. My daughter found it on Paramount Plus, and she was like, we have to watch this right now because I love Sonic the Hedgehog. So we sat down and we watched it, and we have watched it 17 times because it's everything you liked from the first one, but so many more references to the actual plot of Sonic. Like, it has really good story and very good references without just being like a campy video game movie.
Yeah, the first one was great. I thought it was amazing.
I haven't watched the first one, but I watched the second one inside my digital design class in high school. And
wait a minute, so you haven't seen the first one?
I haven't seen the first one. I've seen the second one, but
how can people do that?
I don't
My
know.
kids can do that too. They can watch movies out of sequence, and I'm like, that's only okay if it's a prequel.
I don't question it. I mean, I watch what I watch, and
I think
I don't judge myself.
And I think
cosplayer. We know Naya's gone. She must be having some technical difficulties on her end.
She thought she was still on. She's like, I'm not talking because I can't hear you guys so much. And I'm like, it's because you're not on, babe, at all.
Yeah, probably needs to get near a better internet connection and then completely exit and then re-enter.
Okay, I'll tell her.
But
keep
talking. Things out of order. Aside from, I'm sure my kids have watched plenty of stuff out of order.
I watched all of the last Avatar out of order one time.
Oh, the last Airbender?
Random episodes, time to time.
Yeah.
It was great. I had my own plot going.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like I can't. Is Zuko a good guy or a bad guy right now? I have no clue.
It's a surprise each time.
My first exposure to Lord of the Rings was the Return of the King cartoon, the animated Return of the King, and that was my first exposure to Lord of the Rings.
I wasn't a fan of a cosplayer. I did not like that game.
Did you like the Return of the King?
Oh, I love the Return of the King cartoon. I was yay big. It doesn't hold up very well now, but it carries itself on nostalgia. If I try and watch it now, I still find
That's
myself
true.
humming the orcish marching song when they were marching through the Vale, and where there's a whip, there's a way. But then I shared this with the kids.
I just want to zoom in on that cringe face, real
Yep.
quick. Hold on.
Yeah, cringe. Well, here's the extra cringe. Do you remember when I showed you the Hobbit cartoon?
Yeah.
And the kids would just say, both of them would sing on repeat, down, down, down in Goblin Town, down, down, down in Goblin Town. My wife and I wanted to rip our ears off. Because they never had any of the other song. None of the rest of the song. Just down, down, down in Goblin Town.
Down, down to Goblin Town.
Yeah.
And
at least he can carry
I have that with Nightmare Before Christmas. My daughter is a huge she's a huge Halloween fan. She loves horror. And that was like the youngest, like I've got to find age appropriate horror for my little girl.
Right.
Because she wants to watch, she saw the Pennywise trailer and was just like, "Can I go see this?" She was 3.
Well, hello.
Welcome back.
I thought you knew you weren't there.
She's like, I can't hear you guys.
Now the audience can't hear her yet. Hold on. And now they can.
Okay, hi.
Now they can.
But yeah, anyway, so the one that I remember was, there is an inn, a married inn beneath the old gray hill. That was from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Bronner, be a little older. Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little.
Listen,
older.
Listen, it's my birthday in 2 days.
Oh.
And I'm just gonna exploit that for whatever I can.
I know.
Right.
The thing is, you can't be old enough to be elder, being like Nev, where we don't actually know his age.
Yeah, that's hard to quantify.
Yeah, I do believe he is older than you, Bronner, though.
Well, he's an ancient alien race. I mean, of course he is.
So, there's a talking point I'd actually like to get to, because I talked to this with Jared a little bit. Having to keep the nerd secret, because that was such a thing when I was a kid.
It was a thing when I was a kid too.
I was picked on. I was bullied. It was, you keep that stuff secret and safe like it's the precious.
That's right. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. I agree. I was bullied, and I'm a big dude. I'm 6'4". You could never believe that I was bullied. You would think that I was probably the bully back then, but I wasn't. I was bullied because I was in the D&D club, because I was in the chess club, because I was doing all of these things that weren't the norm. And it really wasn't until high school that I was, quote unquote normal, like playing football, doing, going to dances and
non-nerdy things. But it was
non-nerdy
things. But you still had to hide the nerd side of you.
I was very much. If you need to know the best explanation, I was Eddie Muntz from Stranger Things. I played in a metal band, and I also played D&D. And smoked a lot of drugs.
Yeah, you can't say that on this show.
I can if I'm referencing a character on a show that did all of that in the first episode.
Okay, listen. You can say that, yes. And it's fine. No one's going to judge you.
I'm judging you.
Yes. Thank you, Jared.
Well,
way to speak.
Remember their dare training.
Just say no.
Actually, I used to wear a Dare shirt in those days. Like, I was the quintessential Gen X 90s kid who played in a metal band in a Dare t-shirt with the long hair, playing D&D and doing all the drugs. Now, drugs are bad, kids. You don't want to do drugs. As an adult, I don't condone drugs. I do not do them now. But I'm saying 16-year-old me was just like, the devil!
She dropped again.
She dropped again.
She didn't want to be on the show with you, John. That's what it is.
I understand. Listen, Eddie, I don't know the fate of Eddie Munch, and if anybody in the chat tells me, you will be banned from this channel forever.
He
But what?
He's not watched it. He doesn't know. He hasn't
Okay.
watched it. He doesn't know. He's just being.
We like his sense of humor, though.
He's being a dirtbag teen, and that's okay because that's most of our fans. That's why I say in the chat, I will ban you from this channel if you spoil that for me.
Yeah, but to the point, Jared, what has been your experience as a nerd growing up?
Well, I never had to hide it. I was just like, hey, you like Doctor... Actually, in elementary school, I had two friends. They were Parker and Drew. We would run around pretending to be the doctors from Doctor Who. And he'd be like,
That's awesome.
Wee-oo, and just like... And even in middle school and high school, nobody judges you. I mean, everybody's actually a nerd, honestly. I mean,
Yeah, nerd is mainstream now.
It is totally mainstream now. Before, I literally had to pretend that I was going to poker night instead of going to D&D.
But now it's like, oh, Vin Diesel plays D&D, so it's
right.
Cool.
I don't know who that is.
Henry Cavill can.
Henry Cavill plays video games in D&D and reads the Wheel of
The
Time.
man who plays The Witcher was literally doing the man who plays Superman, The Witcher, was literally playing WoW when he got the call to be Superman and almost did not pick up the phone because he was in a raid.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
The coolest video in the world is, I mean, I'm not saying that this is just a rich dude and he buys video games on that. He built his own PC. There's a video of it. He filmed himself building his gamer rig.
Mm-hmm.
The man
is
a giant. Yeah, the man is a giant nerd.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
he's
the
also
world's-
an Adonis.
And the world seems to be just, I don't know, just changing right in front of my eyes. Like, it's totally mainstream, like you said, Richard. Like, there's no one really is harsh to anybody.
Well,
'cause,
about
like,
nerdiness, at least.
Yeah, well, about nerdiness, of course, yeah. But, I mean, to me, that is just so backwards because, I mean, I had to fight so hard.
But it makes me so happy.
And you all have it easy. Yeah, well, it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. I'm glad that he's been able to not have to hide himself.
Right. For sure, it's an amazing thing. But I hid myself behind, like, tattoos and a bad exterior. But you know what? I still love playing Hobbits. I love still playing Hobbits.
I think you might be a wee big for that.
No, I think that's my alter ego. That's my alter ego is the Hobbit.
All right.
Halfling or whatever.
We'll have to get some forced perspective to get the good pictures.
But I mean, it's a shame that Naya's not here. But the thing that I loved about growing up with her is being able to share those moments that we talked about. Like, she didn't even know about that moment when she just came and took over the controller, you know. But those were the kind of moments that were special in my life that really said, especially like as kind of like a teenager or as they got older, you know, they're supposed to be like spreading their wings and doing their thing. But if they just keep coming back to you, that means you're doing something right, you know, as a parent.
Yeah. And I think one of my happiest moments was when you came to me, Jared, and said, can you help me build a character for D&D?
Crowd Papa moment there.
Crowd Papa moment. I bring out the player's handbook and a couple of supplements, and it's like, okay, let's.
And the book is so much better than the app. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Don't learn from the app. Learn from the book.
Yeah.
Or
books are expensive.
If you want to learn D&D, every Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern.
Great Big Bear.
Great Big Bear does a D&D for dummies. Check out his channel. Because I tell you what, I've heard really good things about the podcast. They're doing teaching you how to play D&D. So
Yeah,
you could go on there. You could go
last
on
week's
there and
show.
ask them. You were on there.
Last week's show I wasn't on the show, but I was in the chat, and it was awesome. A lot of
should be on the show.
participation. Well, there was a lot of questions and stuff, and if a question popped up that I knew an answer to, I would just chime in. But yeah, super, super cool. And it's a way for us to keep, the future of nerds alive, I mean, I'm thankful that there's so much material out there that keeps, kids interested nowadays in that arena, because that's the arena that I love and grew up with, and I think I turned out pretty awesome. So I would like kids to be able to experience that. I mean, it really kind of made me the man I am.
I just think it's important.
And the father I am too, right?
And I think geekery and nerdery is important just because it is about living an authentic life, to be able to be a geek, to live true to yourself, and also to expand your imagination and think.
Right?
It's like
and to be able to experience so many different things, like from conventions to the Ren Fair to reading a fantasy novel to role playing and pretending you're somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
And the best thing, like Jared said, I mean, his favorite thing is to make up stories, and to bring his partners in there and to have them run through a dungeon that he created. How cool is that?
I think it's cool. I also love that whenever he's telling us about the stories, it is that it's collaborative storytelling, that he's not just railroading them through the book he wrote. It's taking their input and
kind of like feeding off of their input, and it might go a totally different direction, but that's a cool way to go. You know,
and it is a terrifying thing, but talk about a way to face your fears and confront just uncertainty things. To being a DM, herding the cats.
Well, I'll attribute it to a little bit of maybe like public speaking.
Mm-hmm.
It's frightening to get up in front of people and not so much for me anymore because I've done it for so many years. But when I first started, I didn't want to get up in front of people. And then like the first time I made someone laugh, doing like a little joke during my sequence or something, it made me feel way more at ease, which is a cool feeling, which just made me want to do it more and more,
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're also a theater nerd family. I used to, I've written, done tech, and performed in plays. And there was a local play that was in need of a child actor. And Jared was able to fill that role. And
I was an abused child.
Very abused, yep. I used him for his size.
I can believe that.
I also passed out on the concrete and had a huge gash on my head, so it worked perfectly for the play.
Yeah, for having to, he literally was playing an abused child. That was his role in the play. Thank you, too. And, he's confronted his speaking and has gotten into drama club and has been learning improv things and learning to expand his imagination.
All right, so I think we have time for one more hard-hitting question.
Okay.
All right, Jared, this one's for you. If you have anything about your dad that you could change, what would it be?
God damn.
That's a tough question.
It's tough.
Yeah, it was right there.
Say it honest.
You see.
I can be honest with me.
Yeah, I know I can. It's just it depends how much I want to hurt your feelings.
Ouch. Well, they're completely crumpled now. Come on, Warren. Tight
yes,
time.
Tight. I wish you would have.
We gotta wrap it up. So give me an answer.
More free time.
There he goes. And honestly, that's kind of my wish too. Right back. I wish I felt like I had more time to spend with him.
All right.
Hey, you know what? I can get that. I can get behind that.
And in fact, maybe you guys will come back on the show again since we maybe did 4 or 5 of the questions that I had prepared out of the 30 or whatever.
Yeah, it was a good. There's a lot, but it's still good. Those questions were good to just kind of get our minds thinking about the type.
Exactly.
I mean, it was a good show. I had fun.
Yeah. I'd like to thank you guys for being on the show. 100%. You guys are amazing. Jared, especially you. I mean, I know your dad, so I already know he's amazing. But yeah, he's raising a good one. Good job.
They do.
Good job on Jared, and good job on raising your parent there, Jared.
Yep, helping me grow into a better dad.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it. So
And
I appreciate you
Nyla,
both.
even though she had bad internet and couldn't be with us here at the end, but glad she was able to.
Yeah, she's probably a little bummed out, but we'll make it up to her or something.
Yeah, we can have
We
a part
bring her
2.
back.
Yeah.
Better.
All right. Well, with that, I'd like to say goodbye and thank John for producing another wonderful show.
And the entertainment's not done yet because we're going to raid over into the very talented Mr. Hope and the BSBN gaming channels. So if you guys just stay tuned, they're going to be playing something fun. I don't know what they're playing, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're just going to raid right over to them. So I want to thank you, Bronner, for having me on. You, as always, fantastic.
Thank you, guys. You guys made a great show. Thank you.
Thank you. And by Conflict Born by Richard Fife.
Yeah, Conflict Born by Richard Fife. I'm still waiting for my copy.
Yeah, I'm mailing it to you tomorrow.
All right.
In the mail.
I'll get it to you.
It's in
the mail with the check.
All right. Good night, guys. Peace and love.
Bye, everybody.